Campbell. Welcome to Barbara Campbell Beauty Live. We're coming to you from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. And it's a beautiful day. I'm looking outside my window and I have a guest here on the show. We're going to talk about what's going on in the media and fake news and real news and journalism and everything else like that. But Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dennis, I invited him onto the show. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what he's doing. He started a newspaper and he also incorporated a newspaper program in all New York City schools. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? That's exciting.
Yeah, so I started a student newspaper in my English class. I teach up in Inwood, all the way at the top of Manhattan. And it's a normal English class, and I noticed that when talking to the students, they didn't know really what was going on in the world. They really weren't reading the news. They got it mainly from social media. So I wanted to do a media literacy unit, and that's when I said, let's do a student newspaper.
But wait, I have to stop you there because the name of your newspaper or your program is Students Disrupting.
Yes.
Where did you get that name?
So as a teacher, my favorite students are actually the ones who are disrupting the classroom. A lot of people have a negative view of students who are the ones that are disrupting, but when you look at all the different industries, the tech industry, so many different industries, the ones who are disrupting the industry are actually the ones that are making the change. So I wanted to incorporate that into my name and be able to say that we're disrupting the education system because we really want to bring a change to the education system by bringing a voice to the students, and that's why we are going to be promoting and advocating for student newspapers for every single New York City public school.
And in Brooklyn too.
Brooklyn too.
Okay.
all the boroughs are included.
But now, students disrupting, right? Is that a good thing? Why is it happening?
Yeah, so I think that for so long, students have not really had a voice. A lot of people, it's based on student scores, and that's not reflected of who the students are. So when I started my student newspaper, my principal saw the really positive impact that it was having on the students. The students were loving it. The ones that were never really engaged were engaged. So we all saw the benefits that were happening. And then she also was informed by her superintendent that we are the only school in our district that has a student newspaper. And to me, that was shocking because as a high school student in California, our student newspaper was huge. It was always so exciting to see an article that was about me or about one of my friends or about anybody that I knew. So I saw the positive impact that it had on my community, and I saw that in my school there was no student newspaper. And so I wanted to bring that positivity, that sort of sense of community that the newspaper created to my school. And by seeing that was having such a positive influence on the students, I saw that this could be so much bigger and brought to all the New York City public schools. Because when doing my research, it was not just my district, but only out of the 1,800 public schools, only about 200 of them have a student-run newspaper.
Why so little? Why is it such a small amount? I mean, I understand now that newspaper, the industry is slowly disappearing. Mm-hmm. So you're managing to bring it back with the young people. Yes.
So I mean, what I have noticed, it's my 4th year as a teacher, and I noticed that our days are so packed, and testing is so important. That is mainly the focus for administrations and for teachers. Right. That a lot of the after school or things that people see as just a supplement to education have sort of gone to the wayside. So that's why student newspapers, it will really bring that sense of community that I saw in my home and also saw.
I see it coming together, bringing young people together to express themselves.
Yes.
So now you know that you have paper, right? And so is this also available online in the school? system?
Yeah, so for right now, we are just print.
Okay.
My newspaper, and I was surprised because the students actually love the print newspaper.
Okay.
I think they're so used to seeing, on Instagram, on all the other social media that they use, they see themselves on that, but they don't see themselves in print.
Right.
So when they saw this newspaper and they see their name, they see their friend in it, they actually like the print version. But we also do really want to bring an online component to it, to be able to have more stories coming out regularly and be able to have more students be able to participate. And then as we grow and we have more schools in our network that are part of the Disrupting Network, they can go to our site and be able to get resources, they can be able to get stories that are pre-written, sort of like a junior Associated Press, where they can get interviews with different organizations that we are already in touch with.
So two things. It is great that young people can see themselves in the newspaper, and that's changing, right? Because you're bringing this to all the schools in New York City. So look out for students disrupting.
We're going to be disrupting.
And bringing you their story take. But going from digital, you're going from print, digital, where social media is changing, how people are receiving the news is changing. For young people, where do you see that going? And why are you going into this new industry that you're resurfacing again? Tell us more.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people can agree that right now there is so much going on. So much is being thrown at all of us and students.
From fake news to real news.
From fake news.
Can we tell what it is?
You never know. And with the way that journalists are
being silenced,
being called the enemy of the people.
Yeah.
They're being called the villains of our country, when really they are the protection, and they're the ones that are going to be making sure that our democracy continues. So that's where I want to be able to help lead the students through all of this insane fake news, real news, and be able to tell them that these people who are telling these stories, these journalists, these are some of the most important people that we have. And they're the ones that are putting sometimes their life on the line to be able to tell us the truth. And just by disagreeing with a news story does not mean that it's fake news. That's the same way that if a student would want to write a story that maybe is not in alignment with what the school is wanting for its reputation, that doesn't mean that they should be silenced. So we really are, both on the real world aspect, but also within schools, we're really fighting for keeping journalism as the forefront of keeping.
I want to give you the last word, and I want to ask you, why does students disrupting matters today?
It matters today because journalists have its own. I think it's that journalism is one, under attack, and it's also journalists. It's a dangerous job now that in this country. So I really want to be able to tell the students and show the students what it takes to be able to write a story and to be able to create an article and be able to go through sources and be able to tell them that just because they're being told that it might be fake, be able to tell them that that's not true. It's actually real news, and be able to lead them through this insane time that we're in, to be able to help lead them and be able to help them get through and be able to digest it in the way that's best for them.
And having this newspaper program in all New York City schools, are students learning? Students
are learning in, I think, a better way than in any other of my classes. This is where they take ownership of the classroom. So we have, it's not just them sitting in the rows and listening to the teacher, but it's actually them being involved in the process.
I like that. They have ownership.
Yes.
And they're owning the stories right now.
Yes.
Till then, everybody, come back for another episode of Brooklyn Beauty Television, BBTV. And Dennis, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.